All right, guys. Yet back with another episode. This is episode 214. This is your boy East Coast Trez, and I'm joined with my good buddy, Mr. Madman Mardik. What up, dude?
Da-da-da-da!
I guess so, huh? Freaking
What
A.
up?
Another one bites the dust.
Another one.
And it just keeps on keeping on, I guess. I never would imagine that we would have made it to 214 episodes. Not really sure how that even happened or how that even occurred or how we even made it this long, but we have. And we keep on strumming along. So, deer season is finally here, bro.
It is.
It's it's here, bro. Are
You
you
been out?
speechless? Like, what is going on? Like,
I don't know. I let you take the helm, which is
why?
scary sometimes. But
Why?
I'll follow you off a cliff though.
Yeah. So, you been out? What's been going on, dude?
I try to get out when it's not raining.
Yeah. I know it's
Let me
been
try to
raining,
think.
what, the past like 10 weekends in a row?
I know.
Like, literally?
Let me try to think here. Oh, so last Saturday it poured in the morning, and then it cleared up, and I was watching the weather, man. And the thing is, like, I don't mind hunting in the rain, especially during gun season. I'll sit in a downpour. But
Hmm.
when it comes to bow hunting and especially with camera gear, I don't like sitting in the rain. But I had a window Saturday afternoon to get out. It looked good, me and Seth were talking about this. I get in super early. It's just how I've always been. So I got up in my stand at 2 o'clock. Got set up, got the bow pulled up, and was trying to get my camera arm strapped to the tree. And I looked up and I already had a buck at the scrape I was sitting over.
Jesus Christ.
So I filmed them a little bit with my camera on my phone.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like minute and 30 seconds of him working the scrape. Sent off a couple Snapchats or whatever. It was just a little 3-pointer or something like that.
Isn't it a little bit early for pre-rut activities?
Apparently, if listen to the guys on Facebook.
It's funny to say though, like, cause like there's a ton of people that are actually talking about that. Like there was somebody said something, and they I don't remember the exact conversation, and somebody rebutted with like, oh, that's way too early for pre-rut activities. Like that's not even real. Why would you hunt over a scrape?
Yeah,
What?
I, I guess.
Yeah, but anyways, go ahead. So now
Yeah,
that's early for
so I
pre-rut
got some
activities.
video. I got some video of him working my mock scrape on my phone, and then I sent a couple Snapchats to you guys, and then busted out. Somehow, I was able to get the camera arm attached to the tree, get the main camera out of the backpack onto the camera arm attached while this deer's at 25 yards, just in time for him to walk by at like 10 yards. Got some, pretty cool footage of him at 10 yards with the main camera, and he walked off. And then, oh yeah, there's another part of the story I forgot. As I was coming to my tree stand, I see a flock of turkeys, and I didn't really know they were there. They were like at my tree stand, so they bust up, they scatter. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. So when I get my tree stand, that buck's already there. I already told you that part. So maybe 45 minutes or so, this buck hangs around. He finally works off. Right around the time the buck works off, I hear out in the swamp, yelp, 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 yelp. And then over my shoulder, I hear all the other turkeys because I busted up a fall flock, right? So now they're kind of rallying each other back together to regroup.
Mm-hmm.
All I could think of was Tracy Green with his fall turkey hunting tactics.
Yeah.
And it was cool because they ended up meeting back up right in front of my tree stand. So I was just sitting there listening to these vocalizations between the turkeys, gathering back up in front of me.
That's bad. That's one of the coolest things in the fall when you're turkey hunting in the fall. Like to
Yeah,
see that stuff and it all come together, cuz sometimes you see it right in the morning where like you're like right in the roost and they hit the ground and they do the same exact thing. Like it's
right.
super cool. It's super badass to watch.
Yeah, and I think you experience it different and pay attention differently than you do in the spring, right? Because like, I mean, we've heard some pretty badass hen vocals while, trying to call toms in and pissing off hens and all that stuff, but
Right.
to not be calling at all and to just sit there and listen to how they naturally, communicate was pretty cool.
Because at that point, then they're reacting to you, right? Like they're
Exactly.
reacting to you, so they're not naturally making that noise,
Correct.
which is cool to have them do the natural noise.
Right, exactly. I was a non-factor. So then that was Saturday evening, and then Sunday evening I went same property, different side of the property. I threw a sit at that, and I had a sketchy wind, but I was okay with it, right? So I know historically, like I found buck beds up on this hillside, and I know where the bucks like to bed. So I had a northeast wind, and the bucks would have been to my southwest coming off the hill. So my wind was good for any bucks, but I was worried that any does coming out of the bottom, my wind was blowing that way, right? So I get on stand. I was gonna risk it for the biscuit, you know what I mean? Like we're just gonna go full send. So I get in there, and again I was in there early, 2 o'clock. I forget what time it was. It was fairly early, 3:30, and I see a deer coming. It's a little skippy, right? So I'm like, all right, where's Mama at? So here comes Mama. Well, the skippy comes right by me, 20 yards. Well, Mom must have winded me, right? But not enough to like blow or booger out of there, but she like knew I was there. And she's just staring at me and looking, and she was getting so pissed off that she couldn't peg me. Like she wanted
Mm-hmm.
to get me so bad and she couldn't. She was getting frustrated. So she comes around down my weak side, right? I'm in the latitude saddle, so she's on my right side, my weak side. And she's giving me the head bob and little picking up the foot and looking, and I'm just like not moving, not moving. And then she ended up reminding me of like a strutting turkey too, right? So you ever get that turkey that like he like comes in, stops, hangs up, and then turns around and like struts back away from you, and then turns around and comes back, hangs up, turns around and goes back. She kept doing that like 6 times. So every time she turned to walk away, I was like, finally, like, get out of here. You're like reminding me of a Karen right now, right? Like, get out of here. And then she turned around and I'm like, you just won't give up, right? But she just gave up, but she never pegged me. She never blew at me or busted out of there. And she finally left. So then it was getting late. I forget shooting light was like 6:30 was legal. So 6:45 I start to break down, right? So I take the main camera off the camera arm, I put it in my backpack, I look up, here comes another buck, comes right in, main camera's put away, comes in, I think it was another 6 pointer, comes in, just starts hammering this licking branch. I pull out my phone again, video him with my phone, paws at the ground pretty good, pisses in the scrape, and then walks by me at 20 yards on the cell phone cam again. Like the something I'm telling you, dude, like the main camera's jinxed.
You're not getting the right footage, bro. You're doing
I'm not
something
getting the right.
wrong.
I'm not getting the right bucks coming either, too. But
Yeah.
it's all right
That's well, at least you're getting the action, bro. I mean, that's half the battle is being in the
for
right
sure.
place, the right time. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it's just a matter of time when the right bucks come in and those. I
right.
mean, we're getting to that transition, that change, and start to see the strange start to show up, and things are kind of getting to that point. It's just the way it
Yeah.
goes.
Well, I haven't even really hunted my good spots yet at all. Like
No.
my better properties where my better target bucks are, I haven't even had it. I haven't even sat them yet,
Right.
not once.
We'll just
And
hope
I'm
that
just
everybody else isn't in there sitting them too.
on my public spots. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm checking some non-cell cams here or there, watching cell cams. Um, just you know me, dude. I'm like super passive, especially when it comes to like early season. Like, I'm not gonna go into my best spot unless it's like high probability, like good
Mm.
weather conditions, good wind. Like everything's looking good. Like if I'm gonna go in, I want to go in when like I'm confident there's a chance I'm gonna kill a target buck. I'm not just
Right.
gonna go throw a sit on a you know shitty pressure, uh, hot day. Like It's got to be all the stars got to align. I got to check all the boxes and make sure I can go in there with confidence that something's going to happen.
Well, and at that, because you don't want to burn out one of your spots. That's one of the hardest things. Like, why would burn out a good spot?
Right.
So just always wait.
I'm not one to make predictions, and I probably shouldn't. But I got a feeling Monday.
Well, it's a big,
Some shit
yeah.
might go down Monday.
Well, and you got the temp change and all the other stuff. I mean,
Uh
there's a
huh.
lot of good stuff that's about to,
Yeah.
you know,
If I can
all align
catch
there.
if I can catch any kind of west kicker in the wind, preferably like a northwest, a straight west, or like a northwest, northwest, or northwest,
Hmm.
or northwest, or
Well, it's
west
got to
northwest,
change out of
anything
this
like that.
northeast crap.
Well, you know why that is, right? It's all that rain.
It's getting all
A lot
pushed in
of
that
times when we get
storm
those
out.
fronts, a lot of time when those fronts come in, they come in with a east kicker, and dude, you can kill a lot of deer, especially bucks on an east wind
Hmm.
because they're so used to our normal winds. Like
Well, I don't know. It's been 10 days with an east kicker, so
I know, but normally what happens
so
is
when
like
the if it changes,
you get a bunch of west winds, and those bucks they have their normal bedding areas, right? And a lot of times the west wind's always going to work for their bed, always going to work for their bed. Then all of a sudden you throw a random east wind in there, and it almost like freaks them out. They're like they have to change beds.
well, that's what's going to happen. It's been northeast for 10, 12, 15 days at this point, so it's about to change to whatever. It's going to northwest. It's going to be a complete and utterly flip, so everything that we've seen now is going to go completely different.
Right, right, exactly.
So,
So, and the problem with that is like I always try to have trees prepped or game plans for like all possible winds, right?
right.
But like, let's be honest, like most of my stands set up for some kind of west wind
Mhm.
and some kind of north wind, right? Because more than likely we're gonna have north winds and west winds. So like, I have way less options for east winds. And like some properties is like it's almost impossible to hunt on east winds, and it sucks. But if I can get a west kicker Monday with the because it's been hot, like it's been
Yeah.
gross this week, like it's really hot.
Well,
Um,
that's what I'm hoping for is a west so I can get into other properties because I've been scouting northeast properties or going into northeast properties, so it's tough. I need to get on
right,
that northwest so I can get on the
right.
other side. Like, it
So
sucks.
I think we got another little rain coming in
Sunday, Monday.
Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah,
and then once that front blows through, we have a huge temperature drop Sunday night into Monday morning, and Monday should be
money.
fuego.
Yep, especially after a red moon. Like, perfect, dude.
Right.
It's perfect. So I got out the other day. It was pretty good. I don't know. I went and sat in a piece of public. Never been in there. Got in there and I got busted. That was pretty cool. But whatever. It's just good to get out. Like I had two does come running by me. I think something scared them up. I don't know what it was. They came running by me kind of early, and then I was in some thick crap, and there was a small buck of some sort. I don't know. I didn't really even see him, and I was messing around with my saddle, and that's one of the things with saddle hunting is just moving around constantly. And I found a scrape
Swinging.
and just kind of got in it, and yeah, because you're not paying attention, you're moving around a little bit more, you're messing around with this, and obviously like you're trying to get the jitters out, right? Like all like the things that you haven't done because you haven't been hanging. And then I got caught slipping, dude, early. Like he come creeping in early, and I got caught up. But it's just cool. One of the cool things like after I had left that hunt, I was like, it was just super cool to get in a piece of public, go in there, find sign, and find deer. Like it was just super cool to go and do that. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep plugging away at that. It's been kind of cool for me because I haven't done really much scouting, and like you, I haven't gone in. I mean, I did some scouting. I have two presets set up now, but like not. I haven't gone into those spots. Just leaving those
Right.
spots to build up pressure on the outside because those are normally the more pressure they put on them, the better the rut is. So it's because those bedding grounds end up filling up, and then I can be on those bedding grounds with the right winds, and things normally turn up pretty good in there. So just kind of leaving them alone and hoping for the best. I mean, I got my cameras still soaking. They're still soaking. I haven't picked those up yet. I'm just waiting for the scent
Big
free.
soaker you are.
Yeah, just waiting for them to soak in. Uh, that's about it, dude. I'm just working and playing with my camera. So, I mean, it's just,
Oh yeah,
oh yeah, just kind of
yeah.
chilling out,
Just Trev.
just doing my thing. Not really got much going on, but whatever.
Oh yeah,
Bro, you
yeah.
got a killer's
You know,
corner?
yeah. I'll get that in one sec. But
Oh,
you did touch on something that I noticed too. Like it doesn't matter how much you practice with your system, like practice hanging and all that stuff.
yeah.
Like you're constantly like tweaking something or like figuring something
Mm-hmm.
out. So like one thing that I've been hasn't been kind of kicking my ass, I guess you'd say, is like the height of my camera arm versus where my gear strap is in the tree and
Mm-hmm.
then where my tether is in the tree, right? So like a couple times like I missed the mark a little bit by a couple inches. So like when I hang my bow's like getting into the top of the camera because
Yep.
the camera's got that external
S-
microphone.
So I normally hang my bow first. So now my bow is because obviously, dude, all in all, let's be honest. The bow is the most important thing, right? Like your bow
Right.
height is most important because like if it's not where you want it to be, you're not going to be comfortable when it comes to the shot. Like to be able to
Mm,
be accessible and be able to grab it. So the first thing that goes up is my bow. Then I
right.
build everything else around. Well, I'm sorry, the tethered goes up first because I just know naturally in my mind what the height of my tether is supposed to be, where I always put my tether. So my tether goes first. Then my
Where's your
bow
tether
goes
go?
up. What's that?
Where do you put your tether?
Oh, I'm forehead height, standing up,
Forehead?
forehead to eye, like like right, head
No.
level.
Yeah.
And then my bow goes up, and then my camera arm goes up,
Right.
and then I just know that it's because my bow is the same side as my camera. Some guys put it on opposite sides, but I'm the same side when I'm saddle
Yeah,
hunting.
me too.
So like,
Me too. I want to kind of screw with putting my camera arm in the middle in
so
front of me
so I've hunted like that a lot actually, and it works out really well. If you're not
because
gonna
then you
do
can
like
go
a
left or
long,
right.
well, the thing is, if you're hunting for a long period of time, and
Right.
you're a kneeler on the tree, then you can't really go center because it's right at
Right.
knee height. So one of the things I do is I kneel up against a tree. I put the center of the camera arm right there, and then go right at your knees wherever your knees. So if you're gonna kneel on the tree, that's a no go for you.
That's why I haven't done it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So it's
But
just
yeah, like
messing around with it.
one sit, I just happened to put my gear strap just a little too low, so my bow was okay where it was, but it was just say 4 to 5 inches lower,
Hmm.
and then it forced the camera like uncomfortably too low to like reach it to
Right.
maneuver the camera. So I'm just getting that kind of stuff dialed in and like make sure my gear strap's just a touch higher than I think it should be, so I have room for the camera underneath, and
Yeah.
constantly just thinking about next sit I'm gonna set up something and it might only be a couple inches, but like it all matters to get your system like everything's right where you want it to be.
Hmm. No, absolutely.
So all right, killer's corner.
Yeah, let's get this thing underway. They're
Let's get it.
probably
It's
sick of
popping
listening to
too,
us,
bro.
dude. Like there's like,
Huh?
man, well, all right, let's get on with the intro, bro.
All
Like,
right, first of all, big happy birthday to our man RJ.
oh yeah, happy birthday,
Yes,
bro.
happy birthday, little man. Can't wait to hopefully see you in turkey camp.
Yeah, actually, maybe even
uh
take a ride up there deer camp. I don't know. There's been talk about that, but
yeah, yeah, we got our man Eric Hammond from working class with his first elk in Utah. So congratulations to you.
this is a stud.
Kenny Cost. That's on my bucket list, man. I would love to do an elk
I
hunt.
know, I know. I'm doing it with a rifle too.
Yeah. Kenny Costlet, dad and brother shot a moose.
Yeah, that was
I
after
don't.
30 years of putting
I
in for a
know.
Maine moose, and Kenny's a guide in moose, in Maine. Kenny's one of the boys from Bear Camp that I got to meet up there. So he's also a guide up there in Maine. So Kenny's a good dude up there.
Also on my bucket list. I have a big bucket list. Uh,
Well, you've only killed whitetails, so I bet you it's pretty
Yeah, well,
big.
that means my bucket list is big. You know what I mean? Uh, Ken D with a nice buck, my man. Congratulations, the Pumpkin Man. Uh,
The monster pumpkin man.
Another big boy, Caleb Keckler with a Massachusetts Youth Season buck.
Great buck.
Congratulations, Caleb. And then I got a good one from Mason Perkins. His dad, this wasn't on the Facebook group page, but his dad messaged it over to me. Mason shot 2 bucks already. He's 16 years old.
Tagged out.
Yeah, and
Studs too.
there were some studs.
They were some great bucks, dude.
There
Some
were some
really
studs.
good bucks. I thought that they were the same buck. They were
Yeah,
just two good bucks, you know. And I'm like,
right.
oh, I looked at them quick. I'm like, because you sent them over to me, and I was like, oh, bro, those are some good. That's a good buck. You're like, yo, that's $2. I'm like, $2? Come on, tagged out already? Come on, we ain't even
Tagged
gotten.
out.
What have we put between the two of us? Less than 6 sits. Like that's good, man. And kid's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
Man,
So
that's awesome.
congratulations,
Congrats.
Mason. Keep putting the hammer down. And then Brad Jarvis, I think he's trying to take credit because I think he dropped some pins for his buddy Sean and his brother Ryan and their dad. His dad guided. They shot like a 61-inch Vermont moose,
Giant.
giant.
That's no midget.
That's no midget. That's no midget moose. But so Brad, good job with putting in the work and sharing those pins.
Nothing wrong
That's
with
all I
that,
got.
dude. Nothing wrong with that.
But
Somebody
keep them
sometimes you
coming.
need a good guide. You need a good guide. Guys, don't forget to get on over the Facebook page. Share what's going on in your world so we can then shout it out on the Killer's Corner so everyone can hear of your success. Make sure to hit the friendship button there or like that page. Get on over the YouTube. We're about to drop actually a new video here on Friday. One of Lou's late season muzzleloader bucks. I was about to drop there. Got some how-to videos, so make sure to hit the like and subscribe button over there on YouTube. Make sure whatever platform you do listen to the podcast, make sure to give us a 5-star review. Or I mean, if you want to give us a 1-star review, that's fine. Just make sure that you write it up as why you gave us a 1-star review. But we appreciate you guys, everything that you do for us, and the other people that we do appreciate are our sponsors. We are title sponsored by Huntworth, huntworthgear.com. If you guys haven't checked them out, make sure that you're checking them out. Steve, what are you wearing this time of year? Now it's starting to
I
crack
did
down and
not.
be colder. What's that?
Oh, you mean hunting?
Oh,
Um,
what
oh
did you
shit, good
say?
question. Madidantana.
Oh, yeah. What?
Anyways, that's for another podcast.
Have you
Let's
broke
see
into
here.
the Elkin yet? Or are you still on the Durham,
No, so
Shelton?
Durham pants, Sheldon hoodie, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those like a little bit some kind of base layer. You know what I mean?
We've
Not
had that
always like the
40
true.
degree.
Yeah, sometimes I'll throw
Yeah.
like usually it's like a base layer
Mm-hmm.
with the Shelton hoodie and the Durham pants, and then I think it's called the Torrington. It's just
Yep.
a uninsulated full zip kind
Yep.
of like lightweight jacket.
Oh
What I
yeah,
do is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just put that in my backpack in case like 6 o'clock. It's the
Mm-hmm.
sun starts to set. If I get like a little chilly, I'll just take that out and throw it on over the
Mm-hmm.
Shelton hoodie. Sometimes I throw it on, sometimes I don't. But like when I do my system, like when I check the weather for the hunt, I always try to wear as little as possible, right? So like I have options to, go to
Right.
the next weight up, but I always flirt with that line where like I'm wearing the bare minimum weight
Right.
and then I'll just take one extra layer just in case. So that's what I've been doing. Sometimes I bust it out, sometimes I don't, but
Well, what Steve is actually talking about when he talks about his system, if you guys head on over to huntworthgear.com, they actually have a system builder
right.
on the website now, which is a new thing that they're doing, and it's a really cool thing. And they break it down in, early season elk, early season deer, so on and so forth, all the way down till late season, like coyote hunting, and they break it down all the way into all of your stuff. So that's what Steve's talking about, your system, and they lay out the system and what you actually need right there on the website. So make sure to get on over
Yeah. One of,
huntworthgear.com.
one of my favorite things to do is like it's a little early for this, but like as it starts getting chillier out, like not quite heat boost weather yet, but like
Mm-hmm.
just before, so I'll wear that Elkins layer, but it's, it might be a little windy, might be a little colder. So like I said, I'm flirting with that line where like maybe I could wear a heat boost, but I probably don't have to. I'll keep the heat boost vest in my backpack
Yeah.
just in case the wind picks up and I do
Nobody
catch
likes
a little.
being hit heat boosted, bro.
Yeah, but I always keep that vest in my backpack that time of year because if I do catch a little chill, especially like an all day sit, man, like sometimes like it just gets you right. So I
Mm-hmm.
can always just pull that vest out of the backpack, throw it on, and
Because the blood hasn't
warm,
been moving, and you're just sitting
warm
there,
me
and you
right
get
up.
kind of cold.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the thing is, you overdo your system, and then you get heat boosted. And if you're heat
yeah.
boosted, you know it's a problem. But
Don't wear the heat boost on the way in
no, do not walk
ever.
in heat boost, dude. Not good. So guys, make sure to go check those guys out. Huntworthgear.com. Also, Latitude Outdoors, latitudeoutdoors.com. Things are getting back into stock. Make sure to use the promo code Outdoor Drive to save yourself some on that one. Also, there is rope upgrade. Is the other promo code you can use when you're upgrading your 10 millimeter ropes or 8 millimeter ropes if you're going to upgrade them for the season. Safety
I
is
think it's
number
only
one,
good for
Pete.
the tens for some reason.
Is it? Oh,
I
okay.
think
Sorry.
so.
What do I
When's
know?
that? Is that still going
Hey,
on?
yeah, still going on. Yep,
Okay.
we didn't get the turn off on that one, so that one's still going. So make sure to guys use that one, that promo code on that one, and you can use the outdoor drive. And you can combine them together. So make sure to use those. It just won't take it off of the ropes. It'll just the promo code for the ropes is the ropes. And you save a little bit more using the rope upgrade promo code. Also, Norris Your Game Calls, norrisyourgamecalls.com. Make sure to get on there. Still a couple of grunt tubes. I'm surprised they're not sold out. I'm mind blown that they are not sold out, but it's getting that time. The pre-rut, is in terms here. They're hitting the scrape, so you're gonna need your grunt tube soon. No, just messing around.
Did you see someone posted a video the other day on CT hunting of a buck mounting a doe?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
That's
I,
pretty cool.
I mean, still, your communication routes, grunts and stuff like that. Like, it's
Oh
not a
yeah.
bad idea to have that stuff in your bag already. Like, using calls and, that's how, deer communicate with one another. So, like, having that, it's always sometimes that saving grace when you're, like, in the stand and that deer's at 55 yards and you just, grunt at him a little bit. He might come in, he might not, who knows? He might just stay on its own way. Right now is a great time to fawn bleat. Like just extra noises in the woods. Like,
Hmm.
a doe could come running in. I've had that happen a couple of times, not knowing what I'm doing, messing around, but it always works. Last but not least is Bowhunters United. Bowhuntersunited.com, guys, is a 100% free at this point. There is no paid subscription. Get on over to bowhuntersunited.com, sign up for free, and they are the advocates for you guys as bow hunters. So don't miss out on that. Make sure you guys get on over there, sign up there, and as always, make sure to check us out on all platforms, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And make sure to give a 5-star review wherever you are listening to this podcast. It means a lot to us, and it gets the word out there. So, well, dude, what do you think? Should we break it on over to
Pineapple.
the Buckeye Brothers? Mr.
Do it.
Jordan from the Buckeye Brothers. You are now listening to the Outdoor Drive Podcast. All right, guys, we're back on the phone with Jordan from Buckeye Brothers Outdoors. What's going on, man?
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Surviving.
Yeah, another day in paradise, right?
Yep.
Getting closer and closer to deer season for you, man.
Is it 14 hours, I think?
Is that all that it
No.
is?
Actually, no, midnight. Midnight's the opening day, so but I mean you can't shoot anything till 7:30 right now, but yeah, we're almost there.
That's awesome, man. Why don't we turn the key, man? Let's get this thing underway. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do?
I'm Jordan from Buckeye Brothers Outdoors. I started this with my three brothers, and we've kind of grown out into a couple buddies and another family member added to us. I love the outdoors. Been doing it since I could walk. It's just time to do something else with it, have some fun with it.
That's awesome. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what Buckeye Brothers is and kind of like what you guys got going on in the future of it?
We are It's four brothers. Started out just spreading the love of the outdoors, trying to show people how we do things the best way we can, educate, learn along the way, um, spread the word of God, be Bible believing Christians that we are. Just push forward and try to get other people interested in the outdoors. Show them, hey, that there's more to it than just killing an animal, and that's pretty much it. I mean, you're setting up stands. It's a time consuming process, and we just want people to know every bit of it.
That's cool, man. And I think one of the coolest parts about it is that you guys are brothers. You know, like we have
Yep.
like one of the things that we have going on is that we have a big group of guys that are friends, but like you can argue with them, but they cannot talk to you ever again. But your brothers can't do that. Like
Yeah.
that's not an option, right?
Yeah. We're gonna see you Sunday at lunch. Like, good luck hiding from me. Yeah.
We're gonna get this
Yeah.
under control.
That's kind of like there's another brother that nobody ever sees, and he's still doing it, but he stays off the camera, and everybody sees him, you'll know who we're talking about. He's the big one, and he is the character. I'm surprised he is not more in the videos, and it's coming. He's gonna be around.
He wants to be more part and involved with it, or
He does, but he's a little different than the rest.
oh,
Oh yeah, he's something.
is
He's got his he's probably going to be home in about 20 minutes coming up the driveway because me and him live on the same piece of land, and he'll be up there playing his video games till 1-2 o'clock in the morning. And good luck getting him out of bed in the morning to go hunt, but he'll be there in the evening. He's something. And he's 6'2", pushing 6'3", 230 pounds. He's a lot bigger than the rest of us, so we just don't talk to him about it.
There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with being that big? No.
That big one's 4 boys in the same house, and he's one of the middle children, so it's a little harder trying to beat him off the food pile.
Yeah. So what made you guys want to do something like this and kind of and work together at that?
Honestly, so Brad actually posted a reel, and it was just a pan of one of the cornfields in PA, and it hit like 13,000 views. And we all were sitting there talking about after. I think we watched a football game. I think it was Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and he turned around and said, "Why don't we pursue this and just try to grow it, make a business out of it, make a channel, and just start making content and see what we can do with it?" And it just took off from there. Like, I mean, that video it's still growing views every day, and it's nothing special. It's just a pan around of just God's green earth, and it was just a good shot. And I'm like, you know what? I think we can do it. And watching THP and everybody else kind of makes you like, all right, this looks fun. Let's go after it a little harder than we've ever done before. And you just learn things from everybody, like talking to you guys, and the list goes on. There's probably 150 people in that inbox that have taught us something in the past 2 years that we didn't know to try that. And the same thing with us. Like, we're giving them tips too. It's like just growing it and seeing how far we can take it. Like, you don't know unless you try.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think that's the best part about it. Like, if you don't look at it as a business aspect and you just do it for just having fun and enjoying it, the people that you meet along the way make it worth it. Like, we say it all the time. If everyone just stopped listening to the podcast and don't even, watch our YouTube, we're still going to do the same thing. We're still going to put it out there. It doesn't matter. It's something we do all the time and we enjoy it. So, like, who cares, So might as well have fun with it and meet new people, go to different deer camps. And, like, we met you guys up in, at Huntstock. And it's just cool.
10.5-hour drive and you're meeting people. It's like, check this out. Like, I bought a knife from the guy next to us, and that's what Brad used to gut his deer in the video. And it's like, this is nuts.
It keeps it fun. It keeps it real, man. That's what it's all about, and you're bringing, I guess that's some of the positives to the internet. There's a lot of negatives to it, but I think one of the positives are the great people that you get to meet along the way.
Right. And like with the business side of it, I mean, it's a growing pain with getting all the stuff loaded because everybody shoots something different. Like, you've got the guys who shoot Bear, you've got the guys who shoot PSE. We all shoot Matthews, but I don't sell Matthews. But I had a I sold 3 bows last month to guys in California. Their first time ever buying a bow, and they're like, "Well, what arrows should I use? What broadhead should I use? How should I hunt this?" And they're like sending me pictures of where they're hunting in the maps on Onyx, and I'm like, "Man, here's where I would go." And this dude's like, "Okay, I'm gonna try it." And I'm just like, if we didn't have that platform on top of everything else, those guys would have never known that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just cool. Like you don't think you're ever going to reach that far, and then you've got guys from Sacramento talking to you about hunting and buying stuff off your website. It's crazy.
So what do you mean, like you guys sell bows and stuff like on your web? Like, explain that.
Yeah, if you get on Buckeye Brothers Outdoors, there's actually it's Bear Archery, Trophy Ridge, Sick Broadheads, our own broadheads that we've been working on. Stealth cam. I'm loading probably 100 parts a week, and on top of it, we're selling like truck accessories, Jeep accessories. Like it's my goal with it with Garrett is one stop shop for everything outdoors. Like if you're sitting at home going, man, I kind of want a toolbox for the back of my truck. You can get on there and buy it, and while you're there, you can buy a set of broadheads. Like you don't have anywhere like that right now. And I was talking to Brad. I'm like, man, this ain't a bad idea. Like, I mean, where are you going to go to do that?
Right.
And like, it's a process. I mean, but the internet's a lot of help now. It's not like 20 years ago when you're trying to build a business from scratch, and it's a lot easier now. But and like I'm working with PSE right now, trying to get them loaded. Hoyt, my issue at Hoyt is I have a dealer 10 miles from the house, so they won't let me do it. But it's a lot of stuff. But I'm trying to appeal to everybody. That way, if somebody needs something, I can help everybody.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. That's pretty cool. I didn't even realize that you guys actually did something like that. I thought it was all video aspect.
You know, that's what I said. Brad kind of puts me on behind the scenes, but that's because that's my thing is the business side of it. And I'm trying to teach him as I go. So if he does want to talk about it, he knows.
Right.
But I'm trying to keep them separate. Like if you get on our page, you notice there's not a lot of ads.
Right.
Because I'm not quite ready to do that yet because I kind of like the content we have on there. And it's figuring out how we're going to advertise that stuff too, along with keeping those separate. So it may be a separate page down the road. We'll see.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's so cool though. And you guys just like you sell them directly from you, or like is it like a middleman type thing?
The Jeep and truck stuff, I'm the middleman, but the bow stuff, everything comes here.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, it's coming to my house because we don't have a shop done yet. So I come here, I inspect everything. I pull it out of the box, I check everything, I make sure nothing's missing. I check the strings, just make sure nothing's messed up, and then I repack it and ship it back out. It's the broadheads that are actually ours and not like sick broadheads. Garrett hand sharpened every single one of those. They were casted. I think it was in PA. Is where they had them casted and they shipped them all. It was just a blank casting, and we had to sit here and file them down, make sure the grains were right. So it was a lot of work, but they work very nice.
So what entailed for you to make your own broadheads? Like tell us a little bit about these things and what they are and what makes them different from everybody else and what even made you want to do this.
Well, I always shot muzzies. I mean, I like the fixed muzzies, but my problem was that they were breaking. I was losing blades, so then I went to fixed blades, and I'm like, these things are so stinking expensive. Like you can't get a good set of fixed blades for under $30. So I asked them, I'm like, hey, can you guys? Here's the general design of it, just a basic 1/8" cut 3-blade solid broadhead. I'm like, can you cast these out for me? They're like, yeah, we can cast them. And I don't know if they make them for somebody else, but it looks. I mean, everybody's cast broadheads look the same, but it's just a 3-blade fixed solid blade. And I'm like, I want something that says if I make a bad shot in the shoulder, that it's going to go through the bone. I don't want to have to worry about it breaking off. Or like I shot a doe last year with a Rage, and she just wiggled the arrow out of her shoulder and walked off like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin shoulder punched his buck, went through both lungs because he was able to punch through the bone, and the arrow stuck in the ground behind him with the fix, and he picked it up, shook the dirt off of it, and it's ready to go again. It's nuts. Like we actually have a test video of them where I think it was a piece of 10 gauge steel we shot with it, and all it did was just mush the tip a little bit. And it's just I want something affordable. Like they're $19 for a pack of 3. Like I gotta make it affordable.
Right.
Like I understand people gotta make their money, but at the end of the day, there's other people out there trying to hunt that want that same kind of broadhead with that kind of quality, but they don't want to pay $80 for it. And I get it 100%. I'm that guy. If I can get a nice broadhead for $19, I'm gonna do it.
Right. And they all fly real true after tuning and stuff. They're all pretty close with them being casted and everything.
The ones that are packed and done, yes. There's a couple I had to throw out. Like I think we got 500 in, and I think it was like 50 were bad.
Yep.
But we weigh all before they ship. They get weighed, so they're all the same grain. That way, we know we don't have any issues because broadheads are fickle. If they're not matched in all 3, you're going to have some issues.
Right. Well, that's good. That's a cool little broad. What's the name of that broadhead?
We're calling that one the G baby.
The G baby. Where did that come from?
Garrett.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna call it and make it fun. The other one I'm working on is called the Big Chuck because that's the bigger brother. His name's Chuck. So that one, it's not a solid cast broadhead. It's got a razor blade on each side with a bleeder.
So then, what's the name for your broadhead, Jordan?
I just don't have one yet.
No.
We're gonna let that one be. They can name the Fletchings or something after me. We'll go with that. We'll figure it out.
That's awesome. I figured it had to go there. Speaking of Garrett, man, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with him? Because I think it's just kind of special, and it's. I mean, I think it needs to be talked about, bro.
Yeah, it's just my thing is the first and foremost, let everybody know if you feel funny, don't hide it. Go to the doctor, tell them, hey, this is what's going on. Get checked, because it don't matter how old you are. Something can come out of nowhere. I had issues a few years ago. Went and had some tumors removed, and the same thing as Garrett, but mine weren't cancer, and his turned out being cancer, and he thought it was just a normal. Maybe I ate something, it's messing with me, and then the local hospital didn't thoroughly check him out, sent him home, and then 2 days later he's in another ER, being told he's got stage 3 colon cancer. Like it's a lot, and he's 23 years old. I mean, it kind of wrecked his world because this is what he lives for, is this time of year. And now he's sitting there watching everybody else do it on top of battling cancer and a rupture, which caused an infection, which he's fighting still. That kid's been through a lot.
And they put him in an induced coma, right?
It's the next thing down from an induced coma. We thought that's what they were going to do, but they didn't have to. So it was like severe sedation to where he had no idea what happened. When he went to sleep, he thought he was only getting the cancer removed, and woke up and they took all but 6 or 7 centimeters of his colon.
Wow.
So he went to bed thinking, okay, I'm only going to have an inch removed, and they took almost all of it. So
that's wild.
To say he's a little grumpy right now is an understatement. Like I get it. And we all tried to be there for him. And I mean, he's the baby. Everybody loves him. Like it's not like he's a pain in the butt. I mean, he's the nicest kid you ever meet. Doesn't do anything bad. The rest of us have had our bad spells. He never did that. And it's just kind of looking like, why that kid? Like, it don't make no sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's also seeing growth in our family that he has no idea happened while he was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are family members that came back around that haven't checked on people or talked to people. There's something like that really brings you together, and we're already a tight family. And when the one that is literally friends with everybody is the one that's sick, it kind of takes the glue and hardens it real quick.
Yeah. Well, so he's better now, and he's coming home soon, or
he should be home next week. He's still fighting a fever, and he has to be able to walk on his own right now. I mean, he's going to have to use a walker for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But once he gets the fever down, they said he could go home. So they're shooting for the end of next week, and then he's still got to do his physical therapy. And then in a month, he's got to do 6 months of chemo.
Wow.
To make sure that it's all gone and nothing comes back.
Poor kid, man. 23 years old going through that. And you were saying that it kind of transpired from like right around actually when we met you guys up in Huntsville.
Well, so colon, from what the doctors have explained, colon cancer takes years to develop. So he's had it for a while,
Okay.
but it doesn't show signs until it's what's the word I'm looking for? At its high, at its towards the end of its growth.
Okay.
That's when you start. That's the problem with colon cancer is it comes out of nowhere, and his just happened to be at the top of his colon, which was causing the pains. Like all my stuff was in the lower,
Mhm.
so it was easily removed. Like they're like, okay, it wouldn't have been that big a deal. I'm weird. I pay attention to my body, all the cramps, the way I feel. Yeah, my wife noticed. She goes, "Dude, you've lost like 30 pounds." And I went in thinking I had it, and ended up not having it. And then I looked at Garrett, and I'm like, you know what? If I'd have went back a year and paid attention more to his signs, I probably could have caught it and told him, "Hey, you need to go get checked."
Right.
Because issue started a year ago,
Mhm.
but it was just a simple, okay, I just need to take this drink and I'll be fine, or I need to eat more fiber and I'll be fine,
Right.
and it worked. So we just chalked it up to he had a fiber issue, and then it was about when we went to Massachusetts. He said he was having some stomach pains, and he came back and he was fine for a week, and then it just snowballed to where he was laying on the couch just crying in pain. And then my mom finally she came back from we have a house in North Carolina, a family house, and my mom and dad went down there and came back and like, dude, you're going like now. And the doctors, the white blood cell count was high, which is kind of a giveaway to be checking something, and they didn't check it at the first hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, so that hospital is kind of known for that, which sucks
Mhm.
because the hospital shouldn't be known for stuff like that, but they are. And that's why my mom the next day took him to the one a little further north, and they figured it out within a day or two.
Jeez. Well, at least they figured it out, man. It could have been worse. It could have been, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They got on top of it. Things are good. He's looking good. Potentially coming home next week. And then hopefully back in the deer woods before you know it.
Oh, he's already trying to figure out how to get in there now with my
Yeah.
dad. I ordered him a tripod, and when the tripod gets here, somebody ordered him a high hunting chair to sit in, so he has a big chair to sit up in. I'm like, what the heck?
He's going to shoot the
Well,
biggest deer of his life. You're
oh
going to
yeah,
have to gut it, drag
his
it. That's the
camera
way it
over there.
goes, right?
Yeah, his camera over there just had a slob walking in front of him. I'm like, no, this ain't happening right now. Like, he's he's in the hospital sending pictures to Brad, and I'm texting him. I'm like, dude, you realize I hunt the same spot as you, and you're sending these to the guy who's not hunting. And he goes, what do you think I'm doing that for?
So
And
that,
I'm like, all right, you're making sense now.
yeah, so that, yeah, he don't want you going in on his spot.
No, he's like, stay out of my tree stands, stay away from my water hole, leave it alone.
But that's not going to happen, right? I mean, it's not like he can chase you around. No.
Yeah, right. I can actually beat him up now. He might lose.
Yeah. Do you,
He's got. We're gonna do a colon cancer bow and arrow raffle. I'm gonna try to get that ready to go next month for him. He's got his GoFundMe in our it's the link's in our bio.
mm-hmm.
Adam from Adam's Precision Archery, or it was Dustin from Adam's Precision Archery. He just did a raffle 2 weeks ago, and they came up with $1,000 in about 45 minutes for him.
Wow.
It was wild. Yeah, this community's been awesome to him, and the amount of people checking in on him and following just to make sure he's okay. Yeah. It's pretty cool to watch it.
Yeah. That's what it's about, man. I mean,
It makes him feel better too. Like when he sees that, he's like, man, people actually care. It's like, yeah, dude, like you're in it now. Like you're involved, dude.
Well, we're, in the community itself. I mean, that's what it's for. I mean, like we're all like-minded people that are in this for the right reasons. I mean, like, whatever we can do to help one another and be part of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just the name of the game. I mean, spread the word. We use our, the avenues that we can to get that stuff out there, like on the podcast, like that's what it's for, man, is to help one another, and nobody needs to struggle. I mean, we're in this game together and we're all like-minded people, like you would think, going back on what we were talking about before, like like if we were to have deer camp together, you would think that we were all brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's just a normal thing, and it's it's cool to see that guys are reaching out and helping you out, man, because that's what he needs to get back on his feet and go kill big bucks. I mean, it's just the way it goes.
And he's on a roll too. He's the one property he hunts. It's a hike to get back to work into anything. So he ain't touching that one this year. But I told him, I was like, look at it this way: that 140-inch 8-point you had, give him till next year. That 160-inch 10-point you had in there, watch it next year because nobody hunts it but him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's his boss from work. It's their family, and they love him like one of their kids. So they're like, "Yep, you can hunt it, but nobody else." I'm like, "That's nice."
That's
Like
awesome.
adopt the rest of us. We'd like to be a part of this.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're pretty cool though. Like his work's got stuff up for him. The entire town where we grew up in Lisbon, they've stepped up to the plate. Like they had a bucket going around for him at the football game last Friday, and one of the nurses from the hospital was at the game because their son went to the opposing school, and was like, "You ain't gonna believe this, but this is the kid on our floor." And then the nurse came in and told him, "Hey, they're talking about you at a football game." And it's like that's just the reach he has, and he doesn't realize it, but his kindness has went a long way. So he's got a good support system behind him. He'll be back on his feet and rolling and making fun of everybody before he knows it.
Good things happen to good people, man. That's the way it goes.
Yep, and it's coming around to him. He doesn't see it yet, but once he gets through the dark side of this, he'll see it.
Yeah. Well, he's been pushing you to get back in the deer stand, though.
Yeah, I texted him. I was like, "Man, I don't know. What do you think?" He goes, "If you're not there, I'm gonna be mad at you." Like, dude, it's 8:30 every morning. You've had that deer in there. He goes, "If I could get in that stand, I'd be in there pushing you out of my way to get in there." And it's the same side. Like me and my dad have hunted that spot since I was 6, and we know they're there. It's just we never knew how to get on them. And me and him were literally sitting there. I was like, "Dude, I think I'm gonna put a camera up here." I'm like, "We've never had one up here. I think it's worth a shot." And then the first time we checked cameras, he goes, "I hate you. This spot. Like, how did we not know this?" You know what it is there's an opening, and then there's a wood line. Then there's like blackberry bush, or what are they, raspberry, blackberry bush, just thick, like you can't see through it. So I put my camera just on the other side of the blackberries, which we've never done, and sure enough, there's 4 or 5 bucks every night, every morning, just cruising. Not a single doe right there, just all buck. And I'm like, okay, I figured you out now, because my other camera's about 30 yards further down the hill in the opening, and it's all doe.
So what are they coming in and out of a food source, or what are they doing?
The does are using a completely separate field than the bucks right now, which I find odd because I've never noticed that with them, but it could be because I wasn't looking up there. So where I've always hunted is it's just doe heaven. Like I could sit there opening day and whack 2 doe like it's nothing, but I only see the little bucks. Now I put that camera up 30 yards north, and so there's a bean field to the west, there's a strip of woods, then there's another bean field to the north on the other side of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
The bucks are staying closer to the wood line in the north field, and the does are in the west field. I just never thought to look. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me this whole time. And it is like scrape after scrape after scrape, buck track everywhere. I'm like, okay, we've just obviously not known how to hunt this side and mess something up here. But they're just staying in the beans. I mean, they're not even like being sneaky about it. It's crazy. But nobody hunted that high up, so they've never had pressure.
Is it because that bean field is like protected or not seen, or like
It
what
is
would
not
be?
seen. So that field, you have to go behind the farmer's house and walk a good 250, 300 yards just to see the field. And the only way to get to it is a small tractor path that the tractor goes down to plant the beans. You can't get a truck in there. You can't get a side-by-side because of the ruts. Like you're just not getting in there. Now, the neighbor's property is only hunted by one guy, and it's like a 200-acre farm. So there's nothing touching them deer in that backside until gun season when they come in and they do their drives. But those bucks will be gone by then. There's a campfire council, which is like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of the property. So we've noticed towards November, into the opening day of shotgun, they disappear into that campfire council because you can't hunt it.
Ah.
So you can literally drive past that second day of gun season and count the bucks in the field at the campfire.
Because they know they're
So we know where
protected.
they go.
Yeah.
We know where they go, but we didn't know where they were early season. And then this year we've I counted 12 points on him, and he's got some palmation on the left side. He's got kickers. Like, he's a wild looking deer. But it's my cheap stealth cam up in that corner, and I can't get an HD photo of him to see how big he actually is. But he's just goofy. And if he decides to mess around tomorrow, I'm gonna have to light him up a good one.
Is that the one that you're going into? You're going in after that deer?
Him and I have a real tall 8-point I'm after. Like that tall 8, I'm a sucker for weird looking deer. So but I've also messed up and passed on the bigger ones, waiting on another bigger one, and I've learned don't do that. If you have a shooter in front of you, just take the shot, because the odds. It's been bad. Last year I did it because I knew there was a big 8 in there. I missed him twice in gun season. I went back out. I'm like, that's it. I'm only shooting him. I'm only after him. I didn't see him the rest of the year. Garrett did the same thing. He hunted that same buck all year long, and then finally he goes, "Whatever, I'm shooting another one," and he shot that one at that other property. So he's like, just if you get a good one, just shoot it. Don't be stubborn, because you never know where they're going to go out there.
Mm-hmm.
Are your beans still green, or are they starting to turn yet?
Oh, they are brown.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, there's not a green bean in that field.
That's what I assumed for the time of the year, but the way you were talking, I was wondering if they were still green for some reason.
No, it was weird. Like, they were green. So I checked 4 weeks ago, right before Garrett got sick. Me and him were out there, and they were green. And I don't know what happened in the last 4 weeks, but they turned brown fast.
They turn quick, yeah. But that's good. That if those bucks are still in there and the beans are already brown, that's good, because my biggest fear would be the beans turn and then you lose them. You don't know where they go after that. But if they're still there and the beans are still brown, then
Well, another thing that's nice is the acorns are dropping hard.
right.
So the amount of acorns in there, it is just nasty, and they're just pinging all day long. So you can rake up a 5-gallon bucket in about 5 minutes of acorns right now.
Is that now when that happens? So early season, a lot of the times in the green beans. See, we don't have a lot of beans here, right? So this is. I mean, obviously, you drove up here. You know what we got.
Yeah.
One of the things here, like, we don't have beans. So, like, majority of those deer, they're in the beans when they're green, and then they leave when it's brown, and then return back late winter. Like, how does this work with the beans? Like, how does that become a food source?
Like if you go to, okay, this could be a pressure thing. So if you go to the bean fields by the road, they're not in them like they are when it's green. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's they know when it changes. It is okay. It's time to hide.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, it very well could be. But I got them in the beans all year round.
Really?
Like I don't know if they're munching on what's left of them or what. But I know it doesn't make the farmer too happy, because he's got to go in and mow them, and they're half eaten by the deer. So he gets a little.
Because they're constantly on them, right?
Yeah, and he can't keep them out. Like, he's tried. Oh, he had a little electric fences around it just to keep them out, and they still got in it. I'm like, dude, you just got to shoot them.
No.
Like,
you're dealing with rats at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
And we had. What's weird this year is there's usually a single black bear that shows up about this time. I haven't seen him. And last year he was looking a little larger and in charge. So I don't know if he just disappeared somewhere and he's not walking as far or what. But he would kind of keep the deer in check on the one side, which was odd to me, because black bears usually don't do that. But when he would show up, we wouldn't see deer for a good week.
And they eat the beans too, the black bears?
Yep, they'll go and eat the beans too.
Do you see a lot of them down there?
It's few and far between. I mean, we know they're here because you get them on camera.
Right.
But actually seeing one in daylight is rare.
Are you allowed to hunt them?
Nah.
No. Pennsylvania is.
Pennsylvania is. They're actually working over from PA and down from Michigan. So if you go western Ohio, they're getting them from Michigan now. And like the southern part of Ohio is starting to get elk back in it. I'm hoping in my lifetime to be able to put my name in an elk lottery for Ohio. But Not that lucky, I don't think. We got Kentucky right there. We'll just venture on down.
MPA is a hard draw for elk.
I've heard it's hard.
Yeah, you still put in for it. I mean, it's a $3 draw,
Right, it doesn't hurt nothing. I
and they have the
Brad's
biggest.
got. I can't remember where he's got. I think he's put in a draw the past couple of years. He's trying, but we've got family in Washington State, and they're like, "You can come out here and hunt them. They're in my yard every night." I'm like, oh, "Stop it!" But my luck got there, they're all gone. But they sent pictures. They had that bull elk in there, and then the cows just running around the yard. But out there, if you say, "Oh, I hunt whitetail," they laugh at you like, "Okay, why are you wasting your time with that small animal?"
Which is crazy because, like, us, East Coast or Middle Eastern, like you, like, going out there, like, I would go to Montana, Wyoming, like, I want to go shoot big whitetails out there. I mean, like,
Right.
the 150s is like, they don't even care
it's
about
huge.
them.
Right.
They don't
they're
care.
like, "Yeah, whatever." Yeah, they're like, "Oh, I got a 200 incher eating in my backyard every day." I'm like, "Stop it!" No, you don't. And
Yeah.
then they send you pictures, and it's there.
Yeah, and then they want to shoot mule deer, and I'm like, I have no interest in shooting a mule deer. I want to shoot the big, the big whitetails and the coolies, man. Like that's what I want to do if I was ever to go out west. I mean,
My goal is get out west and do one of them stock hunts. Like that. That's mine and Garrett's thing. Like, and Brad's awkwardly good at it because he just gets lucky. Like that kid, he was 6 years ago? He's walking out of public. Now, when I say public, I mean this is the type of public where you walk 5 feet, you're running into another guy. And he's on his way out, just trotting up the horse trail, and this buck stands up 20 yards, looks at him, and he draws back and shoots him right there. I'm like, "How do you get that lucky, dude?" And he goes, "I don't know. He's just standing there." And he's like, "Hey, he's dumb enough to stand there some more." He goes, so I was like, "You know what? I'm going to shoot this guy." I'm like, I walk around that public place for 10 days, and I see a squirrel. And this kid just walking up a horse path, and there's a nice 8-point standing there looking at him. He's lucky.
the squirrels out there, they're like the size of elephants.
Yeah, they're ginormous. And we're not allowed to shoot them where we hunt either, so they get even bigger. He likes to watch them.
What?
The farmer will go out, he'll sit in the woods, read a book, and watch the squirrels. And they are the size of raccoons. It is just mad. They're huge. But he'll shoot the raccoons, if that makes any sense.
Tell the farmer you saw the squirrels eating his beans. He'll let you shoot.
Maybe. He'll be like, "Oh, yeah, right." With him, he'd probably like, "Oh, it's fine. They're okay." It's just the deer are my problem.
See that's the place to be, dude. For the squirrel competition, that's where you want to be. We do.
Oh, yeah.
We do a squirrel competition on our Facebook page, and it's we do most squirrels and biggest squirrel from tip to tail, and we have we actually have a red fox category, and then we have a gray a gray squirrel category. Dude, that would be you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, heck, you can go downtown and shoot some big ones off the power lines where we live. They're just everywhere.
The 10-pound red fox squirrels, dude. They're giant.
Them city tree rats are massive around here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's crazy. So, what do you guys got for goals for this upcoming season? What do you guys thinking you're going to get into? So on and so forth.
My goal is to buck out in PA, West Virginia, and Ohio. Garrett's right now is just getting into woods.
Right.
Brad, he's PA and Ohio. He didn't think about it when he was with our cousin 2 weeks ago when they shot that one buck. There was 2 shooters that came in.
What state were they in?
PA.
Oh, okay.
So if you go back and watch that deer's belly's swaying as he walks. That's how fat he was. He was every bit of 230. And where he shot it, so we parked in an HOA. Walked through the backyard, got put on somebody's ring camera that was hanging in their backyard. And I'm looking at it, and like me and my cousin, we're laughing. Like, we've never done that. We've never hunted that close to a house, that close to a city. And I'm looking at him, and he goes, "This is weird, dude. I ain't gonna see nothing." I'm sitting there. I got a doe on film at 20 yards. I had a pygmy deer behind me that I was trying to get on camera, but she moved too quick. I've never seen something so small in my life. I don't know if it was just lost its spots or what. And then I'm hearing snorting and crashing up above me, and it's them guys shooting the buck 100 yards from a housing development. Just the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life. But you couldn't drag it out the HOA because good luck getting permission to go back in there that way. So we had to drag it probably 600-700 yards up down into a valley, up the side of a hill, up into the other side of the property just to get it out. And it was like my cousin the whole time he goes, I should have shot the smaller buck. Should have had a game cart. Learning some lessons here.
You need a
What,
jet
uh,
sled.
That
What
was
put you guys in that spot?
2B in Pennsylvania. So zone 2B.
Good.
Did you guys scout it, or like what drew you to hunt that spot behind that HOA?
Brad and Garrett have actually been scouting that one for a while because it butts up. There's a vegetable farm out there that the guy lets anybody and everybody hunt it. Like, it is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because I went in there opening day of bow in 2B, and I literally walked past 3 doe on my way in. Couldn't get a shot at them. Tried to get my saddle up in a tree. Couldn't find a good tree that didn't have poison ivy, so got mad and just sat on the ground. I turned back, and they're just popped. The weeds are probably 5-6 feet high in there. So these deer are literally just popping in and out. And I'm like, where are you guys coming from? So finally I scurried up at one of the ladder stands somebody had there, and I'm just watching them. They looked like a one of those ant farms, how they have the little lines in them. That's what they looked like from an aerial view down on this. But that's where Brad and Garrett went scouted, and they'd seen these bucks a couple times, and they had an idea where they were, but they couldn't pin them down. And they just went in, and literally Brad went about 15 feet up in his saddle. Matt went another 5 feet up, and they were in the same tree, just hoping that one came through. And they saw him at 75, and they're like, okay, can't shoot him that far. And then all of a sudden they turned like he was reeling him in on a fish line, just beeline straight for that tree they were in. I think he shot it at 6 yards.
Wow.
But yeah, he did a little bit of scouting in there. I mean, he had an idea, but didn't have them pinned in where he knew exactly where they were coming from.
Right.
So do you
But
guys?
when I say
Oh, go ahead.
that place is, there was 10 deer stands around where we were at. That's how heavily hunted this place is. Like, it's nuts. And to have something that big and that old just strolling through there was just the weirdest thing in the world.
So it's public that backs up to a housing development.
Might as well call it public. It's private, but the guy, if you stop there and say, "Hey, can I hunt deer here?" He's gonna let you. Like,
Right.
he
So
said, there's probably 40 or 50 people that hunt it.
So out of all that property, do you think, like those bucks in particular, do you think they tend to hold tighter to all those houses, for like a food source, or do you think it's more of a to get away from the masses of people that hunt all that timber?
I think it's to get away from the masses, because what a lot of these people are doing is they're hunting the vegetable edge. Like, they're literally hunting over top of cabbage, which is fine because that's where all the does go. But if you go out there and you have a pair of binoculars and you look around about 6:45 right before dark, you don't see a buck in that field. You come back out 1-2 o'clock in the morning with a spotlight, which is legal in PA, you're going to find the bucks then. So what they're doing is they're boogieing on out of there good 2-3 hours before daylight and going that 600-700 yards back towards the HOA, and they're bedding in literally right behind the houses.
Right.
Because I mean, if you were to go 30 yards more towards, let's say Brad's looking towards the house, if he goes 30 yards to the left, you're not allowed to hunt that. That lady next door is like, nope, you're not hunting over here. So they're on their way to that spot, and they just caught him at the right time. Because they were walking the path straight to that lady's land, and they didn't get there that day.
Love it.
And so
the way they bed in by a house just blows my mind. Like, I never would have thought to look behind it. Houses in a housing development that has woods button up the back, it just doesn't. I don't know. Around here in Ohio, you don't really think about it, but it's probably something to start looking at now.
Well, they don't feel a threat a lot of times coming from those houses, so they can bed up with their back to the yard, and they really only have to watch, the timber side, because very rarely is anybody coming from or bothering them coming from the houses.
You see that a lot in the
Right.
urban areas.
And I think Yeah, who's the one guy that hunts urban a lot? What's his name?
There's a couple of them. There's, I mean, the Seek One boys, they're urban
That's
guys.
it, Sequan.
And then
Yeah,
you had, some of the Atlanta, Georgia boys and some of those. I mean, there's a ton of guys that do it.
yeah.
Was that
Because
guy down
I
in
have a buddy from
DC too?
Atlanta. Yeah, my buddy in Atlanta, him and his boy, they hunt a lot of the urban. And I asked him, I was like, well, what's it like? He goes, well, number one, the deer are kind of small where he's at. But he
Mhm.
said it depends. Like one day they're not caring the world, and the next day they're skittish. He's like, I never know what I'm walking into. He goes, but they get closer to the house and they just chill out.
Hmm.
So it makes sense. They feel safe there.
Trev, who was it? Was it Weddish that said he changed his laundry detergent to match the ones that they were using at the house?
Yeah, well, let me tell you that
Snuggies.
don't work because I screwed up and I put on some of the old Degree because I was a little ripe. And I went and I sat there and I have a doe at 20 yards blowing at me. I'm like, man, I could have swore that the smell of that laundry detergent and the fabric softener behind me would have masked my Degree, but it didn't
So,
work.
so here's the tip from Matt Weddish. You have to go ask the guy in the house what deodorant he uses. Because he's used to,
What you putting in them armpits,
he
bud?
uses Right Guard. You were using Degree, so that's why the
Yeah.
smell's different.
And what was wild is I'm sitting there and I'm hearing like sprinkler systems kick on. You're hearing kids getting on the bus. There
Mhm.
was some lady talking in the backyard to the other neighbor while they're drinking their coffee. I mean, I can see them behind me. And I'm like, this is just wild to me. I'm used to the peace and quiet. Like there ain't nobody around.
Mhm.
And I'm just hearing everyday talk.
This
And I got deer 10 feet from me. Like,
I've never talked about this on a podcast, but I'm gonna do it real quick, just to kind of push this home. Is so we do a ton of urban hunting here, right? So like everything we're suburbs, urban. Like I'm huge in when we turkey hunt, I'm calling them off old people's bird feeders. I mean, we're up in there, man. Like that's how we hunt. That's life. You know what I'm saying? And so
right.
the first time I came to Ohio, and this will probably hit home. I come to Ohio and I'm getting all frustrated, man. I'm like, I can't find deer, this, that, and the other thing. I'm trying like the whole Midwest thing, ag. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to,
Yeah.
French rose. I'm like, oh, like everything that you read. Talking to one of my buddies back home, he goes, Trev, calm down. He goes, just hunt like you know how to hunt. And I go, okay, no problem. That's what I did, and I hunted like I know how to hunt because there was high pressure in the public land. So, and a lot, as you know, in 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 Ohio, a lot of the public land, there's campgrounds
Yep.
all in the public land. So I said, okay. So I started scouting around the campgrounds because now there's less pressure from hunters, but more pressure from humans, right? And you start scouting around them campgrounds, and guess what? There's sign everywhere. The little
Yep.
thick beddings around those things, they hold a ton of deer, and I didn't realize it. And then so that's you start to think in your mind, you're like, okay, they're safe there, they're safe back home, so they're gonna do the same here. And I shot one of my biggest deer doing that, like, and you've seen, dude, there was days. I mean, I sat one set there up against it. I could hear kids on the swings behind me. I could smell the fire from the campground. Guys are, cooking s'mores. Kids are running around. They're playing, the sandbag game. You can hear all this stuff going on, dude. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to see a deer. Dude, I had 9 deer from
Mm-hmm.
120 to 180 that I seen in one sitting that close to the campground. Like nuts. And I was like,
My
you got to be
dad,
kidding me.
it was they go camping in October, and they were at I think it's Western Reserve Campgrounds, which is like 45 minutes from the house. And he called me because you ain't gonna believe this. I'm like, what? And he goes, the entrance of that campground is every bit of a 180-inch deer. And he goes, Jordan, I have not seen one that big in years. And it's just standing there. And he gets out of the truck, walks like 10 yards from it, takes a picture. He goes, if I had my bow, he'd be sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And it was wild.
It's crazy because they
But yeah,
just feel so comfortable.
I'm learning a lot of that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've hunted the same piece of land since I was little. Like I know, like I could sneeze and tell you where. Here, go over here to the left 50 yards. You're gonna see 10 deer.
Right.
Like it's wild. And I can tell you, hey, you can go pee over there, but don't go pee over here because they're gonna walk past that in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's wild. Like, and my dad, like we've hunted there with my dad, a couple guys from the church. Like I'm standing there one year, and I'm the old man from the church. He pulls out this stick of trail bologna. He goes, "Here, have a bite." And I'm looking at him, man, this looks a little suspect. Look old. He throws a piece in his mouth, starts throwing up, and as we're both throwing up 10-year-old trail bologna because he didn't check the date, we both look up, and there's 2 8 points standing in the path looking at us like, what are these guys doing? And I looked at him, I'm like, Ray, we just screwed up pretty bad, didn't we? He goes, happens to the best of us, kid. I'm like, dude.
What's trail baloney?
It's the police. Put your hands up. That's the big one.
Oh. The big brother.
Get him in here.
Yeah, he's got to let his dogs out.
Oh.
The trail bologna, it's summer sausage.
Oh, okay. Summer sausage. Yeah.
Yeah, we call it trail bologna.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from what
that
summer?
dude was wild. He's the same guy who we all went out and bought new hunting gear one year, just new hunting clothes, new camera. And this old man, he had the same orange vest, I think, for as long as I can remember, with holes ripped up in it. It had the shotgun shell slots that were all stretched out. And I'm like, Ray, why don't you just go buy a new orange vest? He goes, why? He goes, it's still orange, ain't it? And I'm like, well, you could get a newer one. He goes, once again, kid, why? I'm like, okay. And he's just one of those old guys. And he's always shot big deer. And he could go out smelling like Old Spice or Brute or whatever it was and still shoot a deer. And I'm like, he's just whatever. And here I am covered in scent killer and ozonics, just hoping for the best, not seeing nothing. And there he is.
Your problem is because you didn't have Old Spice. You had Degree. That was the biggest
doing
issue.
It all wrong. That Old Spice or that Brute aftershave. Ugh.
They can smell it from 350 miles away. It's so strong.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, it's fine. It's safe.
It's the old guy. He's going to miss.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's my goal is Ohio, West Virginia, and PA. And then next year I want to try to do Kentucky. It's hard to hunt Kentucky. Whitetail's not that great there. And then upper state New York. So we have family up there. They got, I think it's a 100-acre maple syrup farm that butts up to like 4,000 acres of state land.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I think we're gonna try it next year. No, the family doesn't hunt it that hard anymore. We should be on the upswing of that place. So
that's one of the big things up there in New York. Like there's like the Adirondacks is hundreds of thousands of acres of just public land, and there's some good deer. Like you probably saw it at Huntstock. You have the Adirondack Trackers, you have the Adirondack Cowboys. I mean, there's a lot of dudes that go up. There's a couple boys we had Jordan on from Big Woods Bucks, and he's up there in the Adirondacks, and I mean, there's some big deer. I mean, Austin, sorry.
Yeah, and I remember when I was little, my uncle, he was a wild man. There was some screws loose in that guy, and he would literally put us all in it was like a Chevy Savannah van, and he'd have his rifle right down in between the seats, and he would drive around, and if you would see 50, 60 deer in the field, and he'd jump out, run through the field, and shoot them. And I'm just like, what is going on around here? And now you go up there, and the deer, like, I don't know what happened, but they just like disappeared, and now they're finally starting to come back. But I mean, a big buck up there is a 6 point right now, which is wild.
Yeah, because it's the wild, wild west up there, my friend.
Yeah, there's no regulation.
No.
Like, you're lucky to see a cop in 100 miles.
Yeah.
Let alone a game warden. Like, they got their hands full up there.
It's a different world up there, my friend. It's a different world. But there's some good deer up there. I mean, them boys that get in them backwoods and them big woods, there's some big deer up there. It's a different type of hunt. Yeah.
The terrain is beautiful. Like, you can just sit there all day. Like, I mean, we were up there probably 10 years ago, and we just watched a group of bears just roaming around.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was nothing. And I'm like, okay, this isn't something you see back home. I go with mom and 2 bear cubs.
No.
And they were just playing around. It's just stuff you don't see. Like, I'm just like, man, that's kind of cool.
What made you pick West Virginia, though? Is that a normal state that you normally get into?
10 minutes from my house.
Oh, okay.
And where I can hunt in West Virginia, the state land, it's still kind of like Ohio deer.
Okay.
Because it's that northern part of West Virginia. It's flatter. It's still West Virginia, still mountainy and a mess. but the deer are bigger there. I mean, it's way better hunting.
You're in that corridor. That's cool. That's good.
Yeah, kind of like that West Virginia PA little triangle there.
Yeah, that's the big bucks up there in the corner.
Cody used to tell us that, Trev.
Yeah.
Cody from Ohio.
Yeah.
He can't go shit in Ohio, but he could go over to West Virginia and stack them up.
Yeah, for sure.
West Virginia. Mama. Take me home. Country roads.
Oh, geez, now we got to sing it.
Well, what y'all
All
doing?
this is Big Chuck.
Yeah,
What's
Big
up,
Chuck.
Yeah, they call me Big Chuck. Yeah, flex on him, you know.
You hunting
What
in
is
the morning,
it?
Chuck, what's the game plan in the morning? You hunting in the morning or what?
No, probably in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But what
No,
I tell you?
how can you not come out?
What
in the
I
morning?
tell you?
The wind's not right, or what's going on?
I have to be up at 5:30 in the morning on the weekdays for work. So on weekends, I'm snoozing.
Snoozing.
Tomorrow's
That's a
opening
fact,
day.
man.
You got to get up and go hunting opening day.
What do you got better to do?
Sleep.
He's got twins on the way. He's getting his sleep in.
That's right. I'm getting my sleep while I can, okay? Because I know that that's going to be a rarity once they get here.
That's true. That's true. Big Chuck, hey, before you go, I got a quick question for you, man. What drives you outdoors?
What drives me outdoors? Food.
Oh,
That's all he eats. So
Yeah,
deer meat is his diet.
Yeah, I don't know. Kind of strict with my diet nowadays. I don't eat like a ton of like processed meat. So I try to stick with as much venison as possible just because it's so lean and it's good for you. Yeah, I'm at the gym 5 days a week, dude. Like, it's just, there's no time for any kind of like saturated fats or anything like that. So,
I love it.
yeah, venison's the best thing. My wife, when we first got together, was not a big fan of venison. And then I like cook ground deer meat with everything. So, like, it slowly grew on her. And it's to the point now where she doesn't even like the taste of ground beef.
Venison only.
Like, if I cook something with ground beef, she's like, "This tastes gross. What are you doing?" She's like, "We need deer meat." So yeah, that's a big driving factor for me. And I like to sit in the woods with my little beats in and just scroll through TikTok and wait for a deer to walk past.
See?
Man,
Nothing wrong
I got
with
my
it.
priorities straight.
Yeah, Big Chuck knows what's good. I guess I'm going to have to put the beats in.
That's right. You put the beat in one ear. I watched deer last year. I was sitting there scrolling through TikTok. I look up. There's a little doe. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, pal?" I was like, "It's a good thing you ain't got antlers, otherwise you'd be on the ground." I took so many videos last year of just random little deer walking past me, and I could not get a big one to come by. Not one bit. I'm like, "Where?"
Because you're watching TikTok.
No,
Yeah, they probably hear those beats.
dude, I'm telling you, they probably hear my dank memes, and they're like, "We gotta stay far away from this guy because he's gonna put us in the dirt." What can I say? The deer can sense it, man. They're like, "That's a savage right there. We gotta stay away from him."
Oh, boy.
God, what can I say? Listen. The last time I got a deer, this is no joke. I got out of work. No, it was class. And I get into the stand literally an hour and a half, or no, 2 hours before, daybreak. Like, we're actually going to lose all kind of shooting. Like, I'm sitting there in my stand. I'm just beat from the day. And I'm falling asleep. And, like, it's one of those moments where, like, your head's, like, nodding. And, like, I kid you not, I woke up 15 minutes had gone by, go back to sleep. And I wake up, and there's 4 doe standing right in front of me. I was like, "Oh, hey." Pick up the bow, smoke it. I was like, what are the odds? I'm going to fall asleep in my stand. And one time I wake up, there's some deer. What we call luck.
Well, there you go, Chuck.
Or
Just get up, just wake up in the morning, get in your tree stand, and then take a nap in your tree stand in the morning.
Yeah, go back to sleep.
Yeah, just go back to sleep, man. They're gonna walk around.
What up?
I don't know. Papa Bear's going out in the morning, so I'll let him go out and see what he can see, and then see if he can get some magic rolling. If not, I'm going to go out in the afternoon, see what I can find.
Show him
See what
what's
kind
up.
of mess I can get myself into.
I don't know. Dad tends to get pretty lucky, so we'll see what happens.
He's worse than me, man. He'll sit out there for like 20 minutes and he'll see a buck walk past him. This is me. I've been hunting for 10 years. I'm lucky to even see a buck. I've seen maybe 3 bucks in my 10 years of hunting. That's no joke.
Yeah, if it's in beats.
It's
the
not
beats.
the beats. The beats are
Keep your eyes
recent.
open.
It used to be the AirPods. I
It's
blame that.
Keep your eyes open.
Try not to fall asleep. You might see more bucks.
Yeah. Jordan, Jordan, what drives you outdoors, my man?
Peace and quiet. I'm not even gonna lie.
Really?
Yep, just relaxing. I could do. I could sit there for years and not see a buck, and I'm just happy just being able to do it. That's just a bonus. When the bone comes in on top of the head, that's just a bonus.
Just a bonus. Nothing
Yep.
wrong with that. I love it,
Nope.
man.
Know what I
I'm
mean?
happy with quiet.
I bet the hustle and bustle of life, and then to get out there and just enjoy God's green earth and just relax and just kind of kick it back, dude. There's probably nothing wrong with it at all.
Nope. And that's what I told Brad. Like, that's where me and Brad are different. Like, he goes hard. Like, that kid will dedicate every square minute. And I'm just like, dude, I'm going to have to relax. Like, I will sit there, and if I see one, I see one. If I don't, I'm going to talk about how I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I just like to relax.
Big Cuz likes to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, boy.
Chuck.
Heck yeah.
Listen to beats, man. I love it. I love it. Just enjoying it for food.
Watching TikTok.
Yeah.
What's the plan in the morning, Jordan? You going to the wild berry patch or what?
I'm going to Wildberry Patch. I'll be there at 5:45. I'm giving myself plenty of time before the sun comes up.
I like it. You going? Is a preset in there? Or you
My
gotta
dad
hang-
should be out there. Oh, it's preset. It's already hung. All I got to do is carry the camera arm in with me, set it up,
flip
and go.
in, sit down. I like it.
Yep, that guy, the backyard sense fellow we met up there. I've been
Yep.
putting his stuff out. It's been working pretty good. They've been hitting it and staying in there. So I think that's that may be a part of keeping the bucks in there. Just they're intrigued by what's coming around.
I just sent him a couple videos the other day to put up on his social because I've been getting some good results with it myself.
Yeah, it's working pretty good. I've had good luck on it. Brad's had good luck on it. That video he posted the other night was that stuff too, and he hasn't had his big fellow on there in a couple weeks, and then he puts that out, and then that night he's in there licking. It's like, okay, he does not like when something else is in his woods.
Nope.
If he puts that one on the ground, man, I may just hang up my bow for the year and just stare at his deer. Have you seen that video on that thing?
Mm-hmm.
I told him he's gonna be shaking so bad he ain't gonna know where his pins are.
Yeah, he'll be calm, cool,
I'd fall out of the
collective
tree.
until it happens, bro. And then it's a different ball game.
That thing is massive. But he got lucky. He's got a likable face, I guess.
Yeah.
He stopped to ask that guy. He goes, "Yeah, you can hunt here." No, everybody. He's like, "Well, anybody else?" He goes, "Nope, just you."
Full send.
Me and Garrett are sitting in the car, just shaking our heads, like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like, what about us, dude? Is it the beards? Like, what is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Some people just got it. Some people don't, my friend.
Oh, he's definitely got it. Yep.
Well, Jordan, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, where they can follow along this season, they can keep up with, your opening day success after you shoot the big one in the wild berries. Kind of tell everybody what's going on.
Oh, you can give us a follow on Facebook. It's Buckeye Brothers Outdoors. Same thing on Instagram, Buckeye Brothers Outdoors, and YouTube. And if you want to just check out the website, that's Buckeye Brothers Outdoors.
Cool.
I mean, we kept it simple.
That's good.
Same on all 4 platforms.
That's awesome, man. Jordan, we appreciate it. Go ahead.
If you want to keep up with Garrett, he's on it. We're posting as much as we can about how he's doing. We're trying to keep everybody the best we can. There's a lot of people reaching out, so just make the post and keep everybody informed. He's a trooper. He'll get it.
Absolutely. And the GoFundMe link is also in the bio on Instagram. You guys might want to click that. And if you feel generous in helping him out and getting him back on his feet, it's probably a good place to go and do that. And we send our best to Garrett, and hopefully he's back up and in the woods soon. Man, he's in our hearts and our thoughts. So, and everybody else, go and check him out. And thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.